Preview.
On Tuesday, Donald Trump forced Americans to confront racism head-on, in a way they have not done since Abraham Lincoln sought to abolish slavery. For decades, we have danced around the racial divide, with some arguing that it is America's greatest challenge and others suggesting that it is exaggerated or does not exist at all. But in a few impromptu, unscripted remarks, Trump proved that bigotry is a problem our country can no longer deny. In refusing to make a clear distinction between the hateful intolerance displayed last weekend in Charlottesville, VA, and the voices of fearless Americans standing up to hate, the president forced us to draw our own line in the sand. Then he walked away and left us stranded. He relinquished his moral authority as a peacemaker, the role normally assigned to the nation's most powerful citizen when its people are locked in turmoil. He offered us no options for compromise or guidance toward a fair resolution. Instead, Trump chose to side with the bigots and make it clear to the rest of us exactly where he stands. The president has no empathy for African Americans who, though as hard as they might try, cannot totally break free from the legacy of slavery. He has no interest in healing the pain still lingering from 246 years of enslavement or acknowledging the debilitating impact of the segregation and discrimination that came in its aftermath. He sees nothing wrong with displaying the vestiges of a civil war that sought to keep African Americans in chains. He looks at a Confederate flag blowing on a state house lawn or a rebel monument in a public park and sees nothing more than a symbol of Southern culture. He gives no thought to the fact that it is a hurtful reminder of a dark and shameful period in America's history, when whites could beat and slaughter human beings without fear of reprisal because they were considered only 3/5 a man. In his alternate reality of the world, Trump refuses to see that more than 7 decades after the Holocaust, Jews in America are still being persecuted. He turned a deaf ear Saturday to the neo-Nazi rallying cry, blood and soil, the anti-Semitic philosophy once used to justify atrocities in Nazi Germany. Trump has chosen to close his eyes to the truth. And in doing so, he let us all down. But perhaps the president doesn't know the American people at all. Maybe he has underestimated our strength, our compassion and our resilience. Perhaps he thinks we will join him on the sidelines, watching complacently as bigots attempt to hijack our country and turn back the clock. Perhaps he thinks we don't know the difference between a peaceful protest and a provocation. Perhaps he thinks we are cowards like him. But there are far more Americans who believe in equality, far more of us who are willing to choose love over hate. Perhaps some of us have been too quiet in the past, but with our backs against the wall, we will rise up and speak. Perhaps we will all realize that this is a fight for the soul of America. It has nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans, conservatives or liberals. This is a battle between good and evil and a litmus test of each individual's courage and fear. When we open our eyes, what will we see? The president saw very fine people rallying in Charlottesville to protect a statue of Confederate Gen. Robert E. Lee, but well, see them as the anti-Semites, racists and bigots they really are. The president saw violence on many sides, but we see honorable Americans toppling hate. Just as Trump has chosen sides, so must we. And in the end America will be victorious as always, not because of our president but in spite of him. Dr. Glanton at ChicagoTribune.com, Twitter @Dolling.